Bitcoin just broke a brand new all-time high, but I think altcoins and in particular Solana and Ethereum are ready to follow Bitcoin. In today's video, I'll give you guys my Bitcoin update, but I'll also share with you guys my new trading ideas on Ethereum and also on Solana. So Bitcoin is currently breaking through a new all-time high. When everyone was extremely scared and frightened over here due to the tariff news, I told you guys several times to start buying Bitcoin and altcoins. You guys can check back all my old videos if you want to, but they will all prove the same. I told you guys to buy and not sell. Right now though, there's one very important thing on the weekly. Yes, we are breaking through a new all-time high, but if Bitcoin wants to continue its momentum towards, for example, $130,000, what is extremely vital is that this week's candle is gonna close above the previous all-time high over here. I do not want to see a swing failure, okay? Bitcoin is currently entering price discovery mode. Now guys, trust me, this is not something that you would want to fade. You don't want to look for shorts right here. What you do want to do is look for low time frame continuation patterns that can potentially offer a squeeze towards $130,000. You never ever want to fight a trend, but especially not once price is entering price discovery mode. If Bitcoin is going to close this week's candle below the previous all-time high, then you have to be cautiously bearish. But still, in that case, I wouldn't blindly look for shorts over here. Look at this weekly trend. It's extremely strong towards the upside. There's not a single reason to be bearish right here. As you guys know, and as I showed you in Tuesday's video, I am still swing long on Ethereum. And I'm actually expecting Ethereum to start breaking out later today and maybe even tomorrow as well on Friday and pump towards new monthly highs over here and break the previous monthly high. Now, why is that? Because when we look at the weekly and monthly statistics for Ethereum, we can see that on the current week for Ethereum, there's only a 2.9% probability to take out the weekly low based off the timing of where we put in the weekly low and the weekly high, which means around a 97% probability to hold the weekly low for the remainder of the week. Also, we can see that based off distance, there's also only a 15.1% probability to take out the current weekly low, which means that based off both timing and distance, there's a very high probability to hold the weekly low on Ethereum for the remainder of the week. That's your alarm. Are you still paying attention? Are you writing down notes? Let me know in the comments down below what educational trading topic I should be making a video on next. We can also see that it's very unlikely that the second pivot for this week is in. There's a 74% probability to make new second pivots for the current weekly candle on Ethereum. And now assuming that the weekly low is gonna hold, that second pivot is likely gonna be a new weekly high. Also, there's still a 39.3% probability to see a bigger move compared to the current move that Ethereum has seen so far this week, which means that over the past 2 years, which is where I've gathered this data for on the current weekly candle, 39.3% of weeks saw a bigger move than 12.8%, which is the current move that Ethereum has seen so far this week. So for the weekly candle, we are bullish on Ethereum. A high probability to hold the weekly low and also a high probability to make new second pivots for the current weekly candle, which are likely going to be towards the upside since we are assuming that the weekly low is gonna hold. And at the bottom over here, we can see the monthly statistics for Ethereum. I've gathered the data over the last 7 years and I use this on the current monthly candle for ETH. Once again, an extremely high probability to hold the monthly low. 88% probability to hold it based off timing and also a 67% probability to hold it based off distance. There's still a 12% probability, so 12% of months over the past 7 years have seen a bigger move than the current 56.4% move that we have seen so far this month, but especially according to timing, there's still an extremely high probability of 82% to form a new second pivot for the month, which is likely going to be a new monthly high since we are assuming the new monthly low to hold. So that means that this monthly high over here on ETH is remaining my target for now. We can see that yesterday we saw some pretty bullish price action actually across the board, because what we can see is that Ethereum formed equal highs over here. Then we saw a very aggressive dump to the downside. While getting the dump to the downside, Ethereum put in this bearish displacement. But instantly that dip got bought back up. While holding the low over here, Ethereum saw demand entering the market and it squeezed higher and it displaced back above this bearish displacement over here. And that, in my opinion, is a massive sign by the bulls. So what we can see afterwards is that Ethereum has now also closed this 4-hour candle above those equal highs. So in my opinion, the invalidation for your bullish bias for this week on ETH is, in my opinion, beneath this low. As long as this low holds, pullbacks are for longing and you can target new monthly highs over here around $2,740. 14 days of completely free access to what I think is the best trading community in the space, Tribe Capital. You guys can now sign up following the first link in the description down below. No strings attached, no credit card information needed. Just sign up by filling out your email address to the premium section and I'll catch you guys there. For Solana, I'm looking at almost the exact same thing. A weak monthly high right over here, I'm already long as I shared on Tuesday's video, and a strong monthly low right over here. Now I'm expecting Solana this month to go and take out this monthly high because the monthly statistics on Solana are extremely pretty. Because when we look at the bottom summary over here where we get the key insights on the current month for Sol USDT, we can see that there's a 7% probability to take out the monthly low based off timing, a 6.3% probability to take out the monthly low based off distance, aka an extremely high probability to hold the monthly low, but also, and this is extremely interesting, there's an extremely high probability to form a new second pivot for the month after the 14th of May, where we have currently formed the second pivot of the month. 81.4% probability based off timing, and there's also still a 95.2% probability to see a bigger move compared to the current move that we have seen so far this month of 30.8%. So, high probability to hold the monthly low and also an extremely high probability to form new second pivots for the current monthly candle on Solana, which are likely going to be new monthly highs since the statistics are indicating that the monthly low is likely gonna hold. So currently we've seen this move from the monthly low to the monthly high. There's still a lot of room for price improvement for the remainder of the month. And when we look at the 1 hourly time frame, we can see that Solana formed some very clean price action yesterday as well. In my opinion, this price action was even cleaner compared to Ethereum because Solana was also forming an SMT right over here with Ethereum. While Ethereum was forming a higher low, Solana was forming a lower low. What we can see is that Solana made a very aggressive push above this high right over here. But we can see that bulls weren't strong enough to close candles above, so we swing filled it. And many people got trapped into breakout long positions on Solana right over here. All those people placed their stop loss beneath the low over here and they got stopped out hard right over here. The dip once again got bought back up. They were used as liquidity to fill the orders of smart money, and then price once again, just like on Ethereum, it displaced back above this bearish displacement, and also it has been shifting structure back towards the upside right over here. A massive sign of strength by the bulls, which means that the bullish invalidation is beneath the low over here, and we should be expecting a target of a new monthly high from here on the price of Solana. So if you're not positioned long just yet, like I am, you can use today to potentially anticipate a bit of a pullback to position yourself long and then target new monthly highs on Solana over here with your stop loss beneath yesterday's low right over here. Bitcoin just reached a new all-time high and I think Solana and Ethereum are both about to follow. Let's see how today's plans will play out. I would love it if you guys could leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Ciao, ciao!